Hi, my name is Katie Bogle, and this is AI-powered engagement for NCBOLD. So you can follow along on this particular slideshow at bit.ly/NCBOLD24 AI Engage. So you can see that right here. Notice that that is all caps. So make sure you type that in there if you would like to follow along. bit.ly/NCBOLD24 AI Engage. All right. So today, um, who I am a media coordinator at A.L. Brown High School, which is in Kannapolis, North Carolina, halfway between Greensboro and Charlotte on I-85. I've been there for 23 years. I am a bit of a dinosaur. I was a former Spanish teacher before that, and some passions of mine are AIG certification and AIG students. I'm a sign language club advisor, and I have done national board certification and renewal. So I speak that rather well too. So I'm also a part this year of the NCDPI AI Collaborative, and that actually kind of led into what my two sessions are for NCBOLD. Is what does this mean for educators today? Also, I am the mother of two students who are rising college freshmen and rising college junior at UNC Charlotte. So I have two Gen Z students living in my house, giving me the input from their perspective as well. All right, so we're going to think about this from what grade level you serve, making sure that what you are looking for is what matches what you're searching for. So this was for the that slide was for the people in person. So what will we get out of this? So this recording allows you to be able to go backwards and forwards as slow or as quickly as you wish. So you can skip to just sections that you wanted to watch again or watch over. So don't really stress about note taking. There's going to be tons of links in this slideshow, but I'm also going to give them to you in a one-pager so that way you don't have to worry about keeping up with everything. You're going to get one link that really will do everything. So there will also be ideas of varying complexity. So it'll be everything from a simple thing that you can click on one thing and just get what you want, all the way to really getting into a conversation with AI, maybe even app smashing with other things, and anywhere in between. So wherever you are is where you can find something for you. So generative AI at this point is everywhere. You can see it in marketing and advertising. You see it in chatbots when you're just trying to keep up with shipments. I mean, even at this point, there's apps that are totally for that purpose. Instead of downloading the Bible, you can have a chat with it about the Bible. I mean, it's everywhere. So we need to remember that this is not a replacement for stuff that has been existing before, such as Google and other such great tools. It's just another tool. Both tools, other tools can coexist. So as far as the tools are concerned, just to kind of quick make sure everybody's on the same wavelength, really AI took the world by storm when ChatGPT in December of 2022, I think. I was in a social studies department meeting when we discovered this thing that had just gone live, and it came out by OpenAI. And then the other companies that had been working on this, like Google had been working on it for years, were like, oh, maybe we better get this thing live too. So these are the five that are really kind of the main ones: ChatGPT, Gemini, which used to be known as Bard, Claude, Copilot by Microsoft, and Perplexity. So all of those are the actual generative AI powerhouses. But then there are wrappers, there are programs that use what technology is provided by those companies, and they specialize it into an easy to access way for a user to use. So from the educator standpoint, there are tons of options, but from today, all I'm going to talk about is those five. So Magic School, School AI, Canva, Diffit, and Goblin tools. But there are plenty more. And of course, you're also welcome to just use one of those five ChatGPT large language models to just talk to it. So you don't have to have a wrapper. But if that makes it easier for you to start with, you may want to start with one of those. And I'll give you some suggestions of where you want to start. So I want you to think of this as a journey. We are moving towards student engagement. That is the ultimate goal. Like if you hit the summit, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for student engagement. AI is simply a tool in your backpack that will help you to do that. And everybody is on a different spot in this journey. Some people are a little bit further along in the path, some people are just now starting it. So, as you're watching this, I want you to pause the video when I finish explaining and actually think about this. Where are you on your generative AI and education journey? Have you never used it? Have you just created accounts and then like never done anything with them? Have you gone into one tool and just kind of played with a couple of the features of it? Or have you really started to dive in and see what it could do? So we're going to talk about differentiation, personalizing it. Then my other session will talk even more about student support and actually using students using chatbots as well. So pause the video, think about where you are on your journey. Okay, so now that you kind of know where you are on that continuum, let's see how we can take you to the next step on that continuum. So my bottom line goal for you today is not that you go all the way to the other end of that continuum, that you have one simple idea that you know you can try in the next few weeks. Bonus if you come up with more than one idea, and double bonus if you think of a grander goal for the long term. So that's my hope for you today. Today, we are going to come at the student engagement mountain on the side of teacher created resources. So that means that students aren't touching it. Don't have to worry about what age your students are. This is all on you and your workflow and on your prep and the things that you're going to do on the backside of things. So those are the 5 tools we're going to use. You can choose any of those 5 tools as your path up the mountain to get to that student engagement. All right. Also provided for you, if you do well with this, is I've got kind of a note catcher for you. There's a link provided for you there in the slideshow if you're following along. You can either take notes digitally or just, piece of paper or whatever you want, but just start thinking about what are your needs? What are you hoping to get ideas for today? If there's something that you know is a boring content or a student that's really struggling or a student group that's really struggling, those are probably the ones you want to be listening for today as like what you might want to try when you get a chance to play with some of these tools. Okay, so now that you've thought through your need, and if you need to pause the video and do that, these are some just things to keep in mind as you dive into using AI. So first of all, AI for teachers, again, from the teacher side, is your new personal teaching assistant. So it's the person that's sitting here to your side that you can bother with any question and every question you want, and they're never going to get tired of answering it. And you can do follow-up questions. And again, they don't care. It's just going to happily answer your question. So I love that. I love that. Also, as you use AI, North Carolina has not been silent about how you should use it. So there is actually a guiding document, which is fabulous. And you can see the link right here on the screen, go.ncdpi.gov/AI guidelines. And that short link will always take you to the most recent version of that guide. All right, so that talks about all kinds of things with AI. For today, here's what we want to get into. So there are chat bots. So like ChatGPT, the ability to have a conversation. But a couple of the wrappers that I mentioned earlier are ones that also have education trained chat bots. So Magic School and School AI, you're going to hear me say those quite a bit. Both of them have a chat bot. Magic School calls theirs Raina. School AI calls theirs Co-Teacher. But it works the same way. You simply talk to it. You ask it questions, and it's been trained on a data set for education. Now, what's really nice is it has a couple of little features that can help you. So there's a little paperclip icon that you can see right there. You can actually upload documents to it. Rubrics, you can tell it, this is the rubric that I want to work from, or can you edit this, or whatever, but you can give it documents to work from. You can have the actual conversation with the microphone. If that feels more natural, you can do it that way. It'll give you suggested responses, as you can see here. And then once you've got a response, you can actually go in and edit it and say, oh, I kind of like that, but what if you did this? Or can you give me 5 more examples, or whatever you want to do? So it's a live conversation that remembers what you've been saying. Okay. Anytime you are working with a chatbot of any kind, ChatGPT, Raina, co-teacher, whatever, do not put personally identifiable information into an AI chat. That stuff goes into its training for future conversations. And so students' names, birth dates, photos, those kinds of things, don't ever put that in a chat, because it's just going to get funneled into being able to be in somebody else's chat someday in the future. What you want to tell your conversation is what you want. And Vera Kubera, who is an amazing North Carolina educator, came up with this simple way of remembering it, crafting it: context, role, audience format, and task tone. So what I've provided for you here, again, both in the link here and there, is a simple 1-page handout that you can just paste, literally print out and put it on your wall. And these are the things that you want to do. You are I'm a high school teacher, world history, please create and it tells you what to do. So these are your sentence frames for what you're going to want to put into a prompt to actually get out of it what you want. On that handout, there are some examples, and then there's a whole bunch of other prompt ideas as well, like just prompt libraries to look at. So just those are the 4 examples that you'll get, where you can kind of see how that craft prompt turns into a real thing that you type in. All right. So to be perfectly honest, when I started to put this session together, I was kind of stuck. I mean, I kind of knew that AI could engage and differentiate and gamify, but I wasn't really sure how when I started this months ago. So I put in this prompt to Magic School's Raina, School AI's co-teacher, and ChatGPT. I started 3 separate conversations with the same prompt. And then I just kept having conversations in all 3 windows with whatever it gave me back. Those conversations were what took me from being stuck to unstuck, to starting to get kind of those light bulb going. It didn't create my session for me, but it got me rolling. So that's kind of one thing to keep in mind with AI, is when you hit that wall of, I really don't know what to do, that's where that AI really can come in and help for that. All right. So that got everybody on ground level, same. If you already knew all that, thank you for sticking through it. Hopefully you learned a couple of new things there. But here's what you're here for, which is the inspiration ideas. Okay. So engagement. Engagement overall is, how can you help your students connect with your content? Like, what is the ways to do that? So some basic ideas using those 5 tools that I mentioned earlier. So Canva, it has more than 50 image, voice, and video generators. So you can go in and you can tell it what you want it to create, and it'll create it for you. All right, now you're probably already looking at these 2 images over here on the side and going, what in the world? So when I taught Spanish, I had to teach basic things in the house: fork, spoon, things like that. Those are hard words for students to remember. So the word fork is tenedor, and the word spoon is cuchara. Like, there's no way to just hear those and think that's what those mean. So I would always come up with silly little things to help students visualize and remember those words. So tenedor, I told them to visualize 10 forks and a door. It's a silly little image, but it would help them remember 10 forks and a door. Oh, tenedor. Okay, that's my word. Or I would story tell. So this one was actually based on a true story that did happen when I was studying abroad in Mexico. I had a friend who was with me. He was over 6 feet tall, which made him really stand out in a Mexican market. And he bought literally a 6-foot long wooden spoon. And then after he bought it, he had the bright idea of realizing he's never going to be able to get this back to the United States, because you can't fit a 6-foot long wooden spoon into the overhead compartment in an airplane. So then he starts wandering through the marketplace, holding this 6-foot long wooden spoon over his head and swinging it around his head, yelling at the top of his lungs, cuchara, cuchara por vende, which translates to spoon for sale, so that he could try to sell it back. It was really quite an interesting thing to see. Now, this happened in 1993, so I don't have a picture of this, but now I do, thanks to AI. So my point is, whatever it is that you use to teach your students to try to engage their interest and engage their attention, you can now make the imaginary visible. These silly little mnemonics, the silly little stories that you tell. But keep in mind that as you do this, you're not necessarily going to get what you want the first time you try. So this is exactly those prompts where I tried it in different places in Canva, depending on the different tool that I chose to use within Canva. And you're going to get a link to this so that you can see this and, play with this as well. But I just wanted you to see that what I got may not be what I want on the first try. You may have to go back in and play with it a little bit more. So there are other image generators. The reason I suggest Canva is because most educators in most districts do not have that blocked by their district. So you should be able to get in there, and there's a ton of options. Magic School is promising that that's going to come out as of June 2024, which is when I'm recording this. It's currently only in the trial version, but it should roll out to regular free users coming in the next few months. So by the time you watch this, most likely it's live. Microsoft Designer has that ideogram or ideogram, depending on how you decide to pronounce that, is a really good one for a teacher use because you don't have to worry about agreements and all that. It's really powerful. And then Adobe Express is another good one. So those are some possibilities beyond Canva. All right. Other engagement stuff. If you can make your topic relevant to your student, then at that point, they're more likely to listen to you. So if you're trying to do a math problem, but you make your word problem talking about Taylor Swift and her moving from Tokyo to the Super Bowl, which was a real thing, you can do that. Or if you can take something that they really like Phineas and Ferb, like my Gen Z kids love Phineas and Ferb, how can they take that and talk about the Enlightenment through the filter of Phineas and Ferb? So what I did for you was I just did some quick research on what are topics of interest to Gen Z. You're going to get this as well. So these are just some things that are currently trending for Gen Z that you can use as far as that, or you can play with My Family and just, if you want to practice personalizing or individualizing, then, feel free to use My Family as a guinea pig for that. All right. As far as a real curriculum example of this, so I'm going to use the same teacher from my school for all of my curriculum examples because she really has been trying this in her classroom day after day after day after day. So Sarah Solomon, that's her Google profile, got on School AI's co-teacher, so kind of that chatbot idea, and asked it for profiles of fictitious immigrants in the 19th century. And then she took those prompts. So the prompt that she had, was this. She got this prompt, and then it created 18 fake people that would have lived between 1800 and 1915, and then where they would have lived and where they would have moved and why. Now, this didn't really ever happen. There really was no such person as Seamus O'Connor, who was 40 and moved like that. This is just taking generic information and creating these fake people. All right. So then that got turned into a project for the students where they have to then research facts about that time period, about those countries in reputable sources. And then in groups, they created a poster summarizing their findings. So what I love about this particular project is that, yes, she had AI helping her to kind of get it started, but ultimately students were doing the same kind of stuff that they've been doing, researching in reputable sources, and then just using plain old paper, pencil, and marker to actually pull together their final thing. So there's one AI assisted option, which, by the way, the students were not thrilled to find out that they couldn't just Google Yumi Takamashi and come up with all of the answers because that person didn't exist. So that was kind of fun to watch that happen. All right, differentiation. Next topic, how can your content be accessible to every student? All right, so we have all kinds of different students that are sitting in our buildings and in our classrooms. So some just quick ideas for differentiation that are just easy wins. EC students, you can get help with writing IEPs. There is a tool in my Magic School that will do that. In for MLs, which are multilingual learners who are learning English, or other ECs, having text levelers is a really great option. So Magic School will do that, but there's also this tool called Diffit. So what Diffit does is really, really simple. You can use either literally anything, you just tell it what you are looking for. You can pick a specific article or video URL, or you can upload any text or excerpt. So once you log in, okay, I'm just going to sign in with Google. It'll remember what my stuff was. So you'll notice that right over here it says my resources. So to give you an idea, okay, so this is off of a biography.com article that I had for my students to be researching in freshman English. And so this is what they took, the biography.com article, and I asked it to adjust the reading level. I asked it to make it simpler for students to read, but then it also just bonus does this. It gives a summary, it gives key vocabulary words, it gives multiple choice questions, short answer questions, and open-ended prompts. And you can edit these and or use AI to change these. So any of these you can just edit right there, copy just that section, or you can even tell it to edit and do a better job of changing what it gave you as the default. And then even cooler, once you've got this where you wanted, and yes, even the image was found by the AI. I didn't do that, but it's pulling from copyright friendly sources for that. You can then take all of this and then export it in all kinds of ways, ready to go in Google Slides. So what you want to look for is the ones that say free this month right here. And it will organize it though. Are you looking for vocabulary stuff? Are you looking for reading strategies? Are you looking for text analysis, writing? Look for the ones that are free this month. And then bingo, you've got your Google Slides ready to go. All right, so that's Diffit. You're going to see that being used in my curriculum example in just a moment. Okay, other options, vocabulary assistance. So in Magic School, there is a tool for that. You can suggest personalized projects, resources, or assessments. You can actually just have a conversation with Raina or co-teacher and say, all right, this is my student, this is what they like, this is what they're struggling with, and see what it can suggest for you as far as what to do for them. There are sentence stems that it can help you create if you need to modify for your MLs or for your EC students. And notice I did say AIG on this one. If your student needs an extension project because they already have the content mastered, it can give you ideas for what do we do with this kid that already knows all the stuff. And then finally, I want to mention this right here for EC. It's called Goblin Tools. It's great for executive function resources. And that's really all it does. It is really, really simple. So you'll notice even the interface is really simple. So breaking down a to-do list, or taking your spicy thoughts and turning them into classy ones, or vice versa. The judge tool is what's the tone. The professor tool is give me a crash course in something. So you get the idea. It's a very, very simple interface that you can use as yourself to help your students do what you need to do. All right. So curriculum example is going to actually use Diffit. So Diffit, what Miss Solomon wanted was she wanted her students to be able to know more about the Industrial Revolution, but she wanted to personalize it as much as possible. So she gave her students a pre-assessment on the Industrial Revolution with some basic readings. And then based on the results of that pre-assessment, what did they already know? How well did they do on understanding it? She gave them 3 different readings, but it looked like they were all getting pretty much the same reading. If you're looking at these screenshots right now, there's really no way to tell by a quick glance that you have 3 different things. But in reality, she does. Okay. And not only the readings are differentiated, but the activities the students are doing with these readings are also differentiated. So, for example, this letter was from, again, a fake person in the Industrial Revolution. I hope this letter finds you in good spirits. My life has changed a lot. So that's going to be for the students who need a little more easy reading to understand. I trust this letter finds you well as an inventor in these extraordinary times. A little bit harder. Or to your extension level, as the Industrial Revolution unfolds around us, transforming every facet of our lives, I find myself deeply immersed in reflection on its broader implications. Okay, all of them are talking about the Industrial Revolution. It's just a case of which level is that fake person writing from. And then what they do with that is different as well. Okay, so now, and she was able, by the way, to put those together in just a matter of like an hour, with everything, all of the activities, all of the links, all of the readings, everything was taken care of for her. It may have been actually been less than that. That was just my memory of it. All right. And then gamification. So gamification is how do we add some fun to the learning? Basically, two areas to look at for gamification. You can look at it from a standalone idea where you just want to create a game. Jeopardy, bingo, heads up, apples to apples. You want to create a game with your content. Or you can take gamification a different direction where you are teaching a unit or a lesson, and what you need is something to kind of spice that particular unit or lesson up, like create an avatar for the student or for the teams, create a badge. If you got this far then in the unit, or in this far for the whole semester, you got a badge. What does that mean? Do you get some sort of actual physical tangible reward from that? Maybe you can generate a story to weave through the unit. So for this unit, it's like you're back in time in World War II or whatever. So you can suggest tasks or quests for students to do, because if you tell them they have to do a task, that's one thing. But if you tell them they have this side quest, then that's a different thing. So what you'll see on here is, of course, avatars created by Canva, but also sample prompts that you could put into some of the chat bots that would give you the standalone games that you might want. All right. So again, curriculum example. So what did Miss Solomon do? So she went to School AI's co-teacher and asked it to create a list of European explorers and a short one-sentence description of that explorer. Okay. So what that would look like is this. And then she asked it to also give it in table format. So this is what it generated. You were able to get the name of the explorer, the description, and all that. She then simply takes this and copy pastes it to Google Sheets so that way you've got it for perpetuity. There it is. Once it's in Google Sheets, then at that point you can separate out just the names or just the descriptions or print it really easily or whatever you want to do. And in her situation, what she did was she copied and pasted just the names to Flippity. So flippity.net is one of my all-time favorite free educator tools, and it's so ridiculously simple to use. So for her, she went to the bingo one, hit instructions, and then at that point, she just replaced all of the state names with the names of the explorers. So super simple to do. You simply grab that, hold down Shift, copy, go back over here to Flippity, and then replace all of that with their names. So easy. Okay. From there, you can name it Explorers, hit generate, and then at that point, it will generate a separate link and have now this whole list of those names. But even cooler, it goes ahead and takes care of the bingo boards for you. So if you want to print, you can print 20 boards or however many you want, or free space, you simply hit print and it will generate 20 boards with those names already scrambled to 20 different ways. Or you can hit play and you can share this link with your students through your LMS. Or if you want to, I'll put this up here on the screen. If you want to play with it, shoot your phone at this QR code and try it. And what it'll do is it'll give you a digital bingo board that you can then tap a space and put the little disc on it to say that you did it. So when you actually play, you would call out the description of Christopher Columbus, and then check it off that you've called that one. So really, really, really simple, easy way to do something that you can do in 15 minutes. All right. Another option is she took that same names and descriptions and copied and pasted it to Quizlet's Magic Notes. So what that looks like, you simply take this whole thing. So again, first thing, all the way down, hold down Shift, copy, go back over to Quizlet, and they have this thing called Magic Notes. And you can simply click right here on Upload Notes, paste, doesn't need to be pretty, it's fine, and then hit Start Transforming. This is not for a specific course, so I'm not going to worry about that. All right, you can see it generating, and it's going to summarize my notes for me. So I didn't ask it to do this, but it did. These are the early explorers, the explorers of the Americas, that kind of stuff. Okay, that's great. But what I really want is this. I want the flashcards. So I'm going to tell it to refresh. And here we go. Bingo. I now have 25 flashcards. Discovered the Americas in 1492. I click on it. That's Christopher Columbus. Or I can go to the next one. Vasco da Gama, first European to reach India by sea. You get the idea. Okay. So those particular flashcards you can share out as a separate link right here when you click on View. There it is, the famous explorers and navigators. And then from there, you can share this out right here, share, or just use this and bookmark this however you wish. What did she do with that? So to gamify it, what she did was she put her students in a game of heads up. So that's what you see here in this picture. You got the student with his back to the screen. He can't see that the screen says Christopher Columbus. And then the student's teammates were giving him, ideas of this is who you're trying to guess. And then he has to say Christopher Columbus. And then she advances the slide with the flashcards. So really simple ways that, again, didn't take any time or effort on her part, short of editing and making sure that what the AI created was accurate. Okay. And then I have two standalone AI tools that were just too cool to leave out. They didn't fit the other three categories, but I mean, they're really cool. So one is the power of interviewing Holocaust survivors using AI. So what they did was they videoed real Holocaust survivors in 3 dimensions and 360 degrees, and then took that, transcribed all of those hours and hours of testimony and the questions that the interviewers were asking them. And now the student can ask that question. So that's simple as this. Here you go. Here's Pinchas Guter, who is a Holocaust survivor, and he's ready to have your students' questions typed right here. Whatever they type or whatever you decide to put in there, he will answer, but it will be his actual words because they're clips out of all of those hours of testimony that they just checked against this transcript to give the best answer they can. If the student asks a question that really doesn't fit, like how was ice cream in a concentration camp, he's going to say something like, I can't answer that question. So just really, really cool for students to be able to talk to a Holocaust survivor on that website, totally free. And then finally, Microsoft Reading Progress. If you help students who are elementary, who are learning English, are EC, adults, etc., this is something that you really need to go take a look at because this is such a cool AI-powered option for helping people learn how to read. All right. With that said, here comes your one-pager. I've given you lots of ideas and lots of possibilities, but what you need to figure out is what you need. So the first thing you need to decide is, what are you looking for? Are you looking for engagement? Are you looking for differentiation? Are you looking for gamification? Or did one of those two tools that I just mentioned right there catch your attention? So first, choose your topic. And then once you've chosen that, let's say that you're really interested in that differentiation idea. Where are you in your AI journey? Are you going to need a quick win? Are you going to need something that you can just click on the link, it'll just do it for you, and boom, you're done, just to get started? Or have you got a basic grasp of AI and how to use it, and some of the tools, so you could try something that's a little bit more complex? Or are you a trailblazer? Are you already out there ready to try some great stuff? So what you're going to get is ideas. They are simply sparks. They're not going to be your idea. It's just something to get you started for you to think, oh, I can do that. Oh, wow, that's cool. So dig to find what actually works for you. If you're not sure where to start, okay, so if you're brand new to this whole AI thing or really early in your journey, if you've never used it, I would send you to Magic School. Okay. And the reason I would send you there is because there are all kinds of cool tools on Magic School that you can use that are already pre made. You just click on Magic Tools, and all of these are ready to go. And as far as keeping up with them, you'll notice that I starred several. So all you have to do is hit the little star and it moves up to the top and you don't have to worry about it. You can also hit Control F to try to find something. If I mention a specific tool and you can't find it in all of these tools, then you can just search for it using Control and F. So that's a simple way to get in there. Also, if you've already created an account and never really played with it, then this is your chance to go back in there and kind of play with it. Or you can do what I suggested, just go into Magic School and start playing with that. If you're already familiar with that, then start moving to your next step on the journey. What are some of the features of some of your favorite AI tools that go with what I had to say? All right. Optional. If you are a high flyer or if you just really find something cool, I'm going to provide for you a wakelet. And the idea is that whoever watches this session or whoever attends any of the, let's see, I'll do this 8 times over the course of the summer, that they can share across all of those sessions. So put your idea here. If you have a link, put a link. But this way, whoever is looking at this content at whatever time can go back in and add some ideas or see other people's ideas. That's not required. That's not you don't have to do that. But if you want to see that, that is going to be there. Okay, so I've given you those ideas. This link, individual exploration, is going to be your one pager. So if you were going to bookmark one thing from today, yes, you could obviously bookmark my session slides, which is what we've been using up to this point. But this is probably the thing I would suggest that you actually bookmark, which is bit.ly/AI teacher ideas, capital AI, and then teacher ideas. That'll get you to this document. It gives you a link to the wakelet. It gives you a link to the AI guidelines, but it also gives you the ability to jump around within this document. So you decided you wanted differentiation earlier. Okay, great. Click on bookmark. It'll drop you immediately to differentiation. It'll start you with the quick wins. If you were hoping for something that was a little more effort, then that's the section that's a little bit more effort. So it'll give you a direct link to the tool that will allow you to do that. If it gives you a specific thing like project-based learning tool, that's in Magic School. So you can go to Magic School, Control F, project based. There we go. Okay. And then just search for where that is. There's that project-based learning tool. Launch it, and there you go. Okay. So pretty simple to go directly from the document over to what you're looking for. All right. If you don't like that, you can just click on back to top and then pick something different. I did put a few more things in here for you. I put some generic AI resources. So like, for example, that everything that I mentioned earlier in the slides is already linked here. So there's the sample prompts, the personal identifiable information, plus a whole bunch of other stuff in addition to what I already mentioned. So those are all there for you, and I'll continue to add to that live over the next months, years, etc., as I find stuff. Okay, so this is the point where you pause the video and you go play. All right. So now that you've had a chance to play, here are some final thoughts for you. So this did cover ISTE standards. If you're curious, there you go. If you end up creating something using AI, you are supposed to cite AI. And MLA and APA have come out with ways to do that. So I've got in your resources on that one pager, there's a spot for you to get help with citing AI. If you decide to do that. Also, remember that free for educators pretty much is free for the stuff that I showed you. This will be something that will be a moving target over the next months and years, where there will be limits put in or other such, but currently it's free. You may run across limits depending on sizes of things you upload or how much you use it, but overall, free really does mean free. There are all kinds of different activities and groups out there that can help you to learn more ideas, get ideas. Some of them I got on my one pager, I got from social media. So you can get certified in Magic School, certified in School AI. I haven't done the Magical School yet, so that's why that one's a certain number of minutes estimated. I'm not really sure because I haven't done that yet, but it's on my to-do list. So go take a look at some of these Facebook groups, Twitter, certification courses, and get in there and see what you can do. So moving forward, you've got the bit.ly link for this slideshow. You've got this recording that you can go back and rewatch or watch pieces of it. You've got today's one-pager menu of resources and ideas. Don't forget to bookmark that. And then, of course, I'm a real human being, so feel free to reach out to me. There's my email, my Twitter, and my Instagram as well. I will say this much. If you enjoyed this session, I do have a different one from the student side of things. So if you would like to go and watch that one, you are welcome to do so. So great teaching is a lifetime commitment to reflection and reinvention. I can't wait to see what you come up with. If you come up with something really cool, please do share it on the Wakelet because that's going to be the best way for me to see it or for other people to get benefit of your knowledge. Thanks so much for watching, and I appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.